Arthur Shawcross, born June 6, 1945. He was known as the Genesee River Killer and was active in the Rochester, New York area. Shawcross was born in Maine and moved to Watertown, New York while still young with his family. At an early age, he was given tests to show he was of below average intelligence, scoring an 86 on his IQ test. Shawcross made claims that his mother would insert objects into his rectum and that she would perform oral sex on him at a young age. He also made the claim that at a young age he would have sexual relations with his sister. Shawcross dropped out of high school in 1960 and had a reputation as a bully and for being violent. Shawcross was drafted into the Army when he turned 21 in 1967. He served a single tour in Vietnam and would brag about cutting the heads off of Mama Sans and then nailing their heads to the trees to scare the Viet Cong. Shawcross, while in Vietnam, never saw combat, and his claims of beheading Mama Sans can never be verified. At this point, Shawcross was on his second marriage. His wife would see how excited Arthur would become by starting fires. An Army psychiatrist told his wife Linda that he would become sexually aroused after starting fires. Once he left the Army, Shawcross moved back to New York with his wife. She would also eventually divorce him. They found themselves living in Clayton, New York. This is where Shawcross's crime spree started. He would commit arson and burglary offenses. He was arrested for those crimes and was sentenced to 5 years. He served time in the notorious Attica prison and then Auburn prison. Shawcross was released after only serving 22 months of his 5-year sentence due to him saving a prison guard during a prison riot. Upon release from prison, Shawcross returned to Watertown, where he became employed and married for a third time. On May 1972, Shawcross committed his first verified murder. He lured Jack Blake into a wooded area, promising to take him fishing, where he would rape and murder him. He was a 10-year-old boy. 4 months later, Shawcross struck again. This time he raped and killed an 8-year-old girl, Karen Hill, who was visiting Watertown with her mother for a Labor Day weekend. Shawcross was arrested in October of 1972 and confessed to the killings. He cut a plea deal with the police, and one of the terms of it was to show the police where the body of Jack Blake was hidden. Shawcross was sentenced to 25 years in the New York State prison system for the 2 murders. But after only serving 12 years of the 25-year sentence, he was released by the parole board, even after they were given warnings about his mental state. He was assessed as being a schizoid psychopath by prison psychiatrists. New York State parole deemed him to be no longer a threat to society, and he was released in April 1987. After his release from prison, Shawcross was having a hard time finding a permanent place to live. He was run out of every town that he was placed in by New York State parole. Finally, parole moved him to Rochester, New York secretly, so that he wouldn't be run out of the city like he was every other town that he was moved into. New York State parole never even notified law enforcement in the area that Shawcross, a convicted killer, was placed in their city. Once he was settled in Rochester, New York, Shawcross began killing again in 1988. He was killing mostly prostitutes that he picked up from the Rochester, New York streets. All of his victims were killed in Monroe County, New York, except for one which was killed in neighboring Wayne County. It took a little while to track down Shawcross. Investigators didn't recognize that they were dealing with a serial killer. Each murder was a little bit different in MO, and that made the investigators believe they were dealing with different killers. Shawcross's first victim, Dorothy Blackburn, was found March 24, 1988 by hunters in the Genesee River. It was found that she had bite marks in and around her groin. Police didn't have much information to go on and investigated the best they could, but did not have a lot of leads. The body of another prostitute on September 9, 1989 was found, Anna Steffen. October 21, 1989, the body of Dorothy Keeler was found, and then 6 days later another prostitute was found, Patricia Ives, in the same area. Both of the women had been strangled, and at this time the police started to connect the crimes and the victims together. Because most of the bodies were found in the Genesee River or near the Genesee River, the locals gave him the name the Genesee River Killer. With every murder that Shawcross committed, he made attempts to hide the bodies, making the cops believe that he had prior military training or extensive criminal knowledge. At this point, the police began to approach prostitutes seeking information about the crimes, and also warn them of a possible serial killer that was working in the area. The girls told the police of a guy named Mitch, or Mike, that was really aggressive towards them, but didn't have much more information on him. Police began interviewing known offenders, but with Shawcross being placed in the Rochester area secretly, he wasn't on the radar of the local police. As the prostitutes continued to disappear, police believe that the suspect may be familiar with the prostitutes working in the area. Then the body of 26-year-old June Stott was found. She was neither a drug abuser or a prostitute. She was found strangled and sexually mutilated. Some of her sexual organs were also missing. Local law enforcement asked the FBI to come in and assist with the investigation. The FBI then put together a profile of the suspect. The FBI said that they believed the suspect to be a white male, 20 to 30 years of age. He was strong and comfortable with being around prostitutes. The FBI also said in their profile that he seemed to be becoming more comfortable around the dead bodies, and they think that he would revisit the bodies to relive the killings. Another prostitute, Elizabeth Gibson, was found, and it was reported that on the last day that she was seen, a guy named Mitch picked her up. Police are going to the local bars in the area where the girls are disappearing. They're talking with the patrons, trying to figure out who this Mitch individual is. Local police had a major break in the case. Near the Genesee River, a pair of jeans were discovered with an ID inside. An aerial search was then conducted in the general location where the jeans were found. Police found a body laying on the ice. The body that was found was that of June Cicero, a missing prostitute, but it was not the girl whose jeans were found nearby. June Cicero was mutilated after her death. She was almost sawn completely in half. While the aerial search was being conducted, a man was spotted standing on a bridge near a van, and as soon as he spotted the helicopter, he sped away in that van. Police ground teams were able to track him down. After Shawcross was arrested, and during questioning, he finally admitted to the killings. Shawcross also admitted to other unknown murders, and even took the police to where the bodies were located. In November 1990, Shawcross was put on trial for the murders. He was tried for the 10 killings in Monroe County and the murder in Wayne County. Shawcross was convicted of all 11 murders and given a life sentence for each individual one. During his incarceration, Shawcross was kept in a maximum security prison. In 2008, he complained of leg pain and soon afterwards died of cardiac arrest. Shawcross was known to be a habitual liar. He would make outlandish claims. Some were verifiable, most were not. What do you think? Did the police find all the victims of Shawcross's rampage? Are there more out there to be found? If the death sentence was still available in New York State, do you think Shawcross would have been a good candidate? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment below on how you like the new format.